Welcome to Two Guys, Three Crowns, the podcast that talks about what it's really like to live in Stockholm, Sweden. I'm Sean, and with my fellow American Rodney, we break down the good, the bad, and the just plain weird. It's quite the journey, so join us for the ride. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. Woo! First day of Advent, right?
Woo! And I've already had like 14 pounds of saffron, like baked goods. Like I've had like relocated. My wife was like, maybe I should try something different. So she was going to put something together. She stuck it in the oven. It came out, and I was like, nah, this was pretty good, but you might want to try it again. So I'm like gorging myself with saffron. But
now I guess you could say we're celebrating the unofficial, quasi-official, maybe start of the Christmas season with a guest in the house.
What? We got a guest? We got a special guest?
We've got someone on the line, a new addition to the Stranded in Sweden family. It's the one, the only, Ross Schager.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Yes.
Thank you for the warm welcome.
Welcome. And you are actually getting ready to celebrate your first, like, in-country Swedish Christmas, because I'm sure that you've had a little bit of Christmas going. Maybe you know what? Let me back up a little bit. Let me go ahead and let people know how we cross paths with Ross, which is kind of an interesting little story. We had a guest a few months ago, and it was Karin with Love Stockholm. And she was in Chicago, and we did this transatlantic pod, and we talked. And she had started telling us about her adventure of moving, husband and twins and dog, and and it was selling a house. And then all of a sudden, we had like some really bad cold and flu symptoms. No, we had the Rona had started hitting big time, which kind of threw a. Like, I mean, I don't even know if that's a wrench in the machinery. That's like a huge...
That's a whole other machine to eat the machine.
But they successfully...
we made it.
They successfully made the move over here to Sweden. I had a little bit of follow-up, actually, with Ross, because Ross had sent a couple of email questions in for the move over. But now Ross is here with family and pet and everything. And we wanted to talk to Ross because he came now during the summer. And we want to find out, like, what's it been like?
Yeah, man. Sunset was at 2:58 today. How you coping with life?
Yeah, it's definitely it's different. Hey, I got my coop card. That's one of the most important things that's happened. I got my coop card this week, and it was just like Bill Tama's next, and then I'll be rocking and rolling. It's interesting. It gets dark early. But it's I guess it's not that Chicago's it's a little bit different, but adjusted. I think since I work off of the U.S. hours, I take the kids to school, and then I have 4 hours in the morning where I can be outside. Right. So whereas back in the U.S., it's like I'm working, it's dark, and then I get off work, it's dark. So it's almost I guess I don't notice it as much. I don't notice it as much, but like the days where it's completely cloudy and the street lights are on all day, and it's like you need your headlights to drive. It's definitely different. It's definitely different.
Right now, because you're actually keeping your office hours are. You're kind of split between here and still back in the States, right?
Yeah. I work off Midwest time, so like noon to 10 p.m. are my designated hours. So, it's manageable. It's it's not a terrible schedule.
And I always thought that one of the benefits is for me when I moved, I was West Coast and over. I was 9 hours ahead. Was the fact that we're ahead of our clients, as opposed to kind of playing catch up with our clients. So you're, that to me always felt a little bit better, a little easier. 10 o'clock, okay.
It's not too bad.
Close.
I still feel like, but when I'm done, it's still only 5 o'clock. But still, emails are coming in, and I still feel like I have to be available. And it's like, next thing you know, it's 1:00 in the morning, and I'm like, okay, I need to go to bed. I need to go to bed. It's like
that's like when the usually late emails become like really late emails.
They're like, why are you responding? Just go to sleep. So, and at that point, I've been on the couch for an hour and a half watching TV. So, vegging out on Netflix, but it's I still have to kind of check every now and again. But no, the darkness is I was concerned about it because I'm a sun guy, and I actually I moved out to California years ago just because I love the sun, and that was a big concern for me. It's like because I left Chicago for California because of that reason, because springs are so brutal. It's just like April's a slap in the face at that point. You're just like, okay, I'm done with this. But so far it's I'm still pretty green, but no complaints. I love the nature, and I think that's the key for me is that I'm close to the sea and nature, and I have outlets.
Now, are you originally from the Chicago area?
Yes, born and raised in the suburbs, and then I did a stint in California for about 5 years.
Okay.
In my mid 30s, and I'm already in my early 40s, I guess, mid 40s, 43 count is Yeah,
you're going to be catching up to me in about a couple more decades, but
you're not that.
Yeah, but has the move and getting here, because you and I have touched base a little bit, since you've gotten here, and I know that I've sent a couple, touching bases and checking in with you, and all of your responses have been, I'm not going to say surprisingly positive, but they've been really. You've been, the move has been, it's been good so far. I think the transition over here was the hardest part. I think because, it was I won't forget it. It was March 17th. The NBA just closed, and then we were like, everybody go home for work, and. We were already we had already decided that we were probably going to be coming over sooner than later, because we realized that the kids are, they're getting older. Let's get them over there before they get too old. So it was just trying to sell a house, and the kids were yanked out of school. 5-year-olds just pulled out of school. As you guys probably know. Right. And it was just like they didn't even get to say goodbye to their friends, and all the parks were closed, the beaches were closed, so I couldn't get out on the water. But it was just trying to keep a house clean, and then manage all the stuff for what's it going to look like tax wise for work and stuff, and trying to figure that out. And then selling stuff, and like, what are we bringing? I had to sell my 2 favorite surfboards, my paddle boards, and that was like. Those were like my first loves of my life, and it was just, I had to say goodbye to those, and it was hard. It was hard. Wow. I'm like, honey, look at the sacrifice. I am selling my favorite board because SAS.
I married you, but these things, let me tell you, this is another level.
It's like my second wife. It's
but second and third.
Yeah, second and third, right? But SAS, don't get me, SAS is, I can go on a rant on SAS because they said, I gave them some of the measurements. I'm like, this one's 910. And they're like, well, the connecting flight from Copenhagen to Stockholm, it won't fit. It won't fit. And like, they never really said why, exactly why. And then we also had a dog cage, and we cleared it with them three different times. We made 3 phone calls. We're like, hey, this is our flight number from Chicago. This is our dog. This is the size of the cage. We just want to make certain that there's not going to be any issues with the connecting flight. And this is why I learned why the surfboard wouldn't fit, is that the connecting flight was a small plane. So they checked the measurements of the surfboard, but they didn't check the measurements of the dog cage. So when we get to Copenhagen after a 10-hour layover, they're like, your dog cage isn't going to fit. And then that for me was the light bulb went off. I'm like, okay, that's why I couldn't bring the board. So then we got stuck at Copenhagen, with 2 5-year-olds, and it was an extra 10 hours. It was a little frustrating. But then I was really frustrated because I'm like, then I could have brought the board.
Yeah.
Because we ended up getting on a bigger plane, so it was.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that, in fact, Karin actually put up pictures at the airport with when you guys were waiting for you were like, because you were so close. You were like,
oh, we were right there.
So
It was
close.
it was such an easy, like, just like the kids did great. The Emma, our dog, did great, and we got to that point. It was just like such a, bigger problems. There could be worse things could happen.
Right.
But you're a little frustrated because you're like, I just want to get there and start getting, get settled down. We were so concerned about the dog though, because we just didn't know how she would handle the transition. And it was just like to be in a cargo hold and then to be on the plane and then add another 10 hours to it.
Right.
That was our biggest concern is we weren't so worried about the kids. We were more worried about the dog. How's the dog doing?
Yeah.
Kids are fine. Kids will do fine. So.
Yeah.
But no, it was interesting. It was really, it was getting over here was, wasn't so much of a problem, I feel like, because, I got settled in. Things worked out really well. I guess we did a lot of legwork before we got here in terms of finding houses to rent, getting, things settled with the kids. We knew what school they were going to. And then I think Karin, my wife, did so much work on the residency paperwork. That was huge. So we started the application process, before, and she did so much work in terms of that. And that was I wasn't so stressed out about it, probably because I didn't really know what goes into it.
What was going on?
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, I'm showing up. I should hang out. I could work. I could go paddle. It's like, let's live in an area where it's close to nature. So I get, I think a lot of people have a hard time coming back with somebody who's a Swedish citizen, whether it's a husband or a wife or a significant other, and they have kids, and it doesn't always work out for people. So I was really fortunate. So I think when you were corresponding with me after I got here, it was just like things were falling into place. It was like the residency, I got the
coop. You got the coop card now.
Coop card. And then I got a bank account, and then now I'm looking at a bank account. It's like, I have no idea what the numbers mean. It's like somebody could take all the money and just be like, I won't know.
Why are there so many
It's
zeros? That's false advertising. What is this?
Yeah, right. So it's I got the Coop card. Actually one of the hardest things for me was doing transactions, because my Swedish is terrible. Yeah. I don't know anything, and
I mean, you've been here for 6 months now, Ross, and I'm a little
he
disappointed
and I are
that
probably
you're
on the same level.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that your Swedish isn't a whole lot better, having been here for a whole 6 months.
I just learned that they had an extra 3 letters or 2 letters. I didn't know it.
Just keep adding S's. You'll be fine. You'll get there eventually.
You're you expect me to learn it. I can speak Spanish, but when you throw 2 extra letters in there, forget it.
Yeah. What's up with the A? The A with the pricks. The A with the pricks. What's happening with that?
The
where'd
2 dots.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was thinking about, I know that one thing we had talked about was you were trying to get your mobile phone stuff. You were getting your cell phone set up so that you could do, and I flew via, I think it was Charles de Gaulle on one of my trips over here. And it was the first time that I actually had to use like a landline phone. I went and found a phone to make a call. And I mean, I didn't know where to start. I mean, because the plus symbol and like the 0, and people are like, yeah, but you don't need the 0. And I'm like, well, why do they put the 0 on there if I don't need to dial it? And they're like, yeah, but the plus symbol is actually the equivalent of 2 zeros. And I'm like, well, why are they even, what is the plus symbol? This isn't even a number,
I still can't, here, I'm at my work desk, but like here, you get, the audience can't see it, but I have my phone number written down on a Post-it because I don't have my number memorized. And then, like, when the phone rings, I'm like, hey, Karin, I'm like, can you take this?
Well, then on top of that, it's like, how are you supposed to rate a phone number here? Because every other person has a different way of organizing all the numbers. I'm like, you do 3, and then you do another 3, and then you do 4. Come on.
Yes. No, I. So you guys are ahead of me. I still don't know how the phone number. I don't know how it works because I'm so used to the U.S. system.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I mean, I've decided on a format, and after that,
here I'm gonna go ahead and give you a tip. You're gonna need another sticky note with your personal numbers for the kids. The kids, when people start asking you, because like you'll eventually, I mean, I memorized mine after a while, but I've been here for 15 years and I still have like a little cheat sheet in my phone, because every time they ask for my kids, you know, personal number, their personal number, they're like, okay, well, what's the personal number?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, hold on for a sec. And then it's almost like they're questioning whether or not they're my kids, because I can't remember their personal number.
Yeah, no, Karin said that. She's like, you're gonna have to memorize your number and your personal number, and I get that. So I have it memorized, but then there's different, formats. Like the bank will want your personal number in the year first, and it's just like,
right.
It's
writing a date, dates.
Dates are different. I'm like, is this November or September? I'm like, it's like
they're starting calendars on a Monday. They talk about week 42. I'm like, get out of here with this stuff.
I mean, probably one of the hardest things to do is like, I'm trying to figure out, like, I know what a ribeye costs back home per pound, and like, I know when it's a good deal, but here it's like I could be paying $200 for a ribeye, but right. you're asking me to correlate, translate from kilograms to pounds, and then from kroners to dollars,
from dollars to kroners.
And I'm dyslexic. Good luck.
It's like gas.
Yeah.
Have you put gas in the car?
Yeah, I shipped. I was dumb enough to ship a car over here, so I did that. And
because the first time you put gas in the car and you stand there and you're putting it in, and then you stop to do the calculation, and you're like, holy smokes! I just put like $80 of gas in my car.
It's expensive. I was like, wow. I'm like, it's not cheap. It's definitely not cheap, and I guess they say the diesel gets better mileage on the diesel, but
you probably still, you're filling gas and you're like, you know what, I should have left the car and brought my boards. It would have been cheaper.
Yes, definitely would have been cheaper, and I probably could have gone faster. But those are some of the fun parts of transitioning.
But you're also, I mean, now the kids they're into school. Yeah. And I mean, that was a whole new transition too. I mean, you've had stuff going the whole time.
Definitely. That was our biggest priority, obviously, was the kids. Is that we, right? I'm from Chicago, but I met Karin when I was in San Diego. We had dated long distance, and then we started our family in San Diego. So in 2000, the kids are born in 2015. We moved back to Chicago in 2018. So the kids had already, and then they transitioned to Chicago, and then in 2020 we moved here. So they've been through a lot of changes. So we want to really get them established with a network of kids that they can be friends with. And
right,
just recently when I drop the kids off at school and I hear other kids scream their names when they come in. I mean, that's just like that. Just nothing can make me happier. To hear that they have other kids that are, recognize them, and I guess they're speaking Swedish in school now, which is great. So pretty soon they'll be talking behind my back, and I have no idea what they're saying.
You have no idea.
I'm screwed. It's just like my wife and the kids are going to be just like having a field day with me.
they're gonna be at Coop with you, looking at the steaks, going, "Hey, does he have any clue like how much these steaks are actually costing?" No.
Yeah, no. Buy those, Dad. Those are on sale.
It's like Godis on Fridays too. Yeah, Dad. I mean, it's it's not just Godis candy on Saturdays. Now it's on Fridays. Yeah, no, it's I remember because Adrian he was 5. Yeah, he was 5 when we moved. Mm-hmm. And I remember the first couple weeks, because they started playing with the neighborhood. There were some neighbor kids that they started playing with right away. Mm-hmm. And even though they weren't really, and our kids, Veronica was 1, so she wasn't doing much of anything. But when they were all playing together, kids could understand because of Swedish that Lena made sure that they, were bilingual. Mm-hmm. But it's amazing. I mean, kids playing is international.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. It's it's really wonderful to go ahead and see. And that's how they started picking up more and more and started testing with the language and things. But, it goes so fast.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. It's like we have the first week of school, they had each one of us come separately for 3 hours a day. And so I was at their school. It was nice out. It's September. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, well, I can't talk Swedish to the teachers. They don't speak English, So I'm just like, all right, I'll just go play bandy with the kids. So I would just go play hockey. And the kids are like, it was so much fun because it's just like, one kid tripped up another kid, and I'm just like, okay, penalty 2 minutes, you're going in the box. And like, he knew what I was saying. He got it. He knew what penalty meant. So, but the teachers are just like, they're just looking at me like, who is this guy? And they're just like, you want to be a substitute teacher? I'm like, sure, I could do this every day. But it was to watch the kids play, and then my kids. It's we have kids over for play dates now, and to watch them, they don't really. They just, they figure it out. It's really fun. And then when the kids talk to me in Swedish, I respond back in English, and it's not a big deal. It's just like, you just read facial expressions, and, we all figure it out. So it's fun to watch. It's absolutely, it's really fun to watch.
Yeah. Now, Ross, how's the food transition been for you? I know that has the food transition been How have you been experiencing the Swedish food?
The culinary scene.
The culinary.
I'm struggling with it, and I need some support. And I just, it's like
say goodbye to deep dish and Chicago hot dogs, huh?
Oh my God, it's like I don't know. I have dreams now of like buffalo wings, and if you ever go to Chicago, you got to hit up Pequod's. It's like that's some solid pizza. It's I'm kind of a picky eater, so I wasn't raised. I was raised on Midwest food, so a lot of steaks, meat and potatoes. Yeah. And so Karin was always eating salmon, and I just wasn't raised on fish. So when I got over here, I was like, okay, I can grill. Hot dogs. There's sausages and stuff like that in brat. So I do that a lot, and Swedish pancakes. But it's still, it's mind-blowing to me that there's no breakfast food. Yeah. It's like I can't go out and get bacon. Want to
like go to like a Denny's or something and get a nice breakfast with a short stack.
No, there's
a short stack.
Yeah, Denny's or like anything. There's no dice. There's no greasy spoon. It's just like so. Breakfast is like granola and yogurt, which is great. It's healthy. Yeah. But I missed the breakfast food, and like tonight I'm grilling. I'm gonna fry up some wings.
Nice.
Because first of all, you found wings to fry, to cook with, even.
I don't know. It's like they're a little bit bigger than a wing, but they were in the frozen section. Today I really ventured over to the frozen section at Coop, and I was kind of meandering around, and I'm like, well, those look like wings. They could be wings. So
they are wings. They are wings. They are wings.
They are. They're not going to be a Buffalo Joe's. Is my go-to spot back home.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far the food, I found some local some local hot dogs that apparently are local to Ingaroo.
Okay. Yeah.
So I guess that they're really good. And my wife makes fun of me. She's like, it's feeding 3 kids, not 2 kids.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely do not fit in to the Swedish diet.
But now are you an adventurous? Are you somebody that I'll try it once and then no? No.
You'll become that way.
You think so?
Yeah.
Did you guys adjust or?
Well, I like fish, before I came over here. I lived in South Florida for 10 years, so that's kind of a given. But I couldn't believe, so you eat salmon back in the U.S., and they just cook the hell out of it most of the time. So if you get it in a restaurant, it tends to be overdone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then you come over here, and, if I see salmon on the menu, no matter how crazy it sounds, I know it's going to be good. Smoked salmon on a pizza. I know they do weird things with pizza here, but smoked salmon on a pizza, I was like, okay. Yeah. Let me try it. The Swedes with salmon, and it was good. It was really good.
Wow, I'll have to. And the pizza is like, something weird about the food over here. First time, I ordered a pizza, and then I go to pick it up, and they didn't even cut it.
Yes.
It's like what? It's like I called the place. I'm like, it's like McCarn's like, no, you gotta, if you want the pizza cut, you gotta ask him to cut it, and I'm just like.
Wait,
All
that's
right.
an option? I didn't know about this. I'm learning something new. You
It's
can
like,
ask
I think it's
me
a
another-
new option. It's a new option.
It might not be. She may have just said that. She makes stuff up, so I don't know if she make it. I always forget. But then she'll cut it with scissors, and I'm just like, okay.
Oh,
like,
no.
Yeah,
Right,
it's so weird. But the salmon, no, I definitely, and I'm sure it's really good quality, and it's as you get older, I get to work on my diet a little bit, so I know that it's not a bad thing if I can figure out how to incorporate some salmon into my diet. But like that crawfish, no chance. I'll be
Okay.
80. I'll be here when I'm 80, and I'm not going to guarantee you I'm not going to have crawfish. Not going to do
And
it.
now that we're heading into the Christmas season, we got all the pickled herrings.
No,
We got all of
no, thank you.
no.
Yeah, if he's not doing crawfish, he's not doing pickled
Not
herring.
doing herrings.
No,
Okay.
somebody, my last dog, my first dog, somebody tried to give, her name was Whiskey, tried to give her some herring, and they put it in front of her nose, and then they dropped it on the floor, and then she rolled in it. And I'm just like, see that right there? I'm like, that's why I'm not eating that, because it tastes like you know what. So if a dog rolls in something, I'm probably not going to want to
Not
eat
gonna
it.
want to eat it. Okay.
So,
No.
Yeah, but-
will you get down
They-
with the classics then? Will you go with Swedish meatballs?
Yeah, sweet. I'm solid with the meatballs and the pancakes. So I'm really, pepperkaka is a strong suit for me.
Okay.
Yeah, so
you
I
got
do-
you got Prince Korvar. You got like the little mini hot dogs
Yes,
that come out
yeah.
around Christmas,
Yeah,
and
those are really good.
and then Christmas ham. I mean,
ham.
Christmas julskinka is a standard. So I mean, I think you're gonna. It's looking pretty good. I think you're gonna make it through Christmas.
I
I
think-
think you'll be able to navigate the
I will say though, I think I might need some recommendations from Ross on the bratwurst, because sometimes it can be hit or miss here. Like they say it's chorizo and that's not chorizo. They say it's bratwurst and it's not bratwurst. So if you find a good one, you got to let us know, and we'll
I'll
track
let you
down
know.
that bread.
I don't know what. Honestly, I was just cruising by and I saw something that looked like sausages, so I just yanked it out of the cooler, and it was just like, I'm going for it. I think it could be because I can't read. I don't, they say something, and it's like, it looks like
Can't read, can't
Could
count,
be-
can't tell the time.
could be Italian
Yeah.
sausage, and it's like, if you want something funny, you should come look at me at the meat section, because it's like, I'm like, is that chicken? Is that lamb? Or what is that?
Yeah.
Now I know that there's pictures.
Yeah.
They have pictures so that you can identify what section you're in, but it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, the one to be careful for, and I brought this up in an episode a while back. I had some friends that were over here when we got married, that stayed, and they went grocery shopping, and the difference between blandfärs, which is a mixture of beef and pork,
That's for
and
your
it
meatballs.
looks an awful lot like just ground beef.
Yeah.
And they bought the blandfärs and made hamburgers rare when they were here. And they didn't know that it was actually that, the pork mixture. They didn't feel good for a couple days. But that's one of those things where you look at it and you can kind of identify it,
Yeah.
but it can throw you for a loop.
But on that note, one thing I've definitely struggled with is that I haven't found a good quality ground beef here, where it's like the hamburgers don't taste the same as back home. Did you find that? Is that like is that just me?
I've been here so long. I mean, I've been here 15 years. So, if
I would probably say it's due to
Yeah.
a lower fat content. It's
Yeah.
probably awfully lean over here.
everything's so damn healthy over here. Everything's so damn healthy, Put some
know.
fat back into stuff. Let's get some flavor back in there.
I know. It's even the steaks. It's just like, definitely. You can tell it's a cleaner cut, and I wasn't sure. Maybe they're grass fed or something different. And I wasn't sure if the Swedish cows are different than American cows. I don't know if there's
Well, they speak Swedish.
They do speak. Yes,
yeah.
better than me.
How would that be? That would be like a moo. It'd be like a
Moo
moo.
with the two dots on the end.
Well, we actually have a guy that was a guest earlier that we'll go ahead. I know that he had written up, and it's Matthias that has Burger Revolution, and he is in Ekerö. And he is a burger specialist. And I know that he has some tips as far as getting that fat ratio to meat ratio. So I think that we'll go ahead and tap into that, and we'll at least get you the the ingredients makeup of that. But yeah, he is the smash burger specialist.
Oh, it's good to know. I'll let you know what how the wings come out tonight.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, if they are wings.
If they are wings, I'll send you a picture. You guys can.
I've been into
Ross
it, and it was soy. It was all soy.
It was a soy.
Tofu wing. What is
a to-wing? A to-wing.
A to-wing.
Yeah. Now, Ross, you are an aquatic. You're a water enthusiast. And is it like stand-up paddling? Or you like did you start off as like a regular surfer, or does it?
Yeah, great question. I always wanted. I've always liked the water, but like in the early 2000s, it was I couldn't afford a boat, so I was like, okay, I can't afford a boat, and I was looking at Hobie cats, and like even a used Hobie cat from like the 70s.
Yeah,
it was pretty cheap, but I was just like, then it's too big. Then stand-up paddle was getting big, so I'm like, that's affordable. I could afford that. So I got a board, and that was like 2010, and I was just cruising around on flat water, and then one day I was on Lake Michigan, and it was just small waves, and I caught my first wave, and I was like, at that moment I was hooked. I'm like, that was like. It was like a 1 foot wave, so it wasn't big, right? It wasn't a big wave.
California boy getting your 1 foot wave on Lake Michigan.
Oh my gosh, But I got that. I got hooked, and I was like, I'd always wanted to live in California, so that got me really thinking. It's like, what's it like out there? And so that's I love the water and just being outside. I think some people back home, they kind of joke, they're like, Ross is allergic to being indoors because it's like I can't stand being inside, so it's just anything to be outside, especially during the winter. So it's you have definitely hit the right place then, because this Sweden is definitely an outdoor place. Well, that's crazy. It's I think one of the things that surprised me the most right off the bat was like, because I had been looking at where we're at now. We're in Ingero, and 3 years ago we were here visiting, and I just said, hey, let's go look at the archipelago. People kept saying the archipelago, go check it out. I didn't really know what they meant by it. I knew what it is. I know what an archipelago is, and I had been looking at Google Earth, and I'm like, hey, wow, it's like, I could tell there was a lot of nature out here, and we never got an opportunity to visit. And when we decided to move over here, I knew that I had to be somewhere out here. My wife was from Ekero, and I was just like, if I'm gonna, change my life and transfer over to Sweden, I really got to try and be as close to nature. And it was just amazing that we're 30 minutes from Stockholm, and I can't find this. You have to go 8 hours north of Chicago to find this kind of nature.
To find that much outdoor,
it's really what a special part of this country is that their nature it's gorgeous. It's really amazing, and to be able to raise my kids, and you're still close to the city, and you're so close to nature. I mean, I can go see mooses. In the afternoon, go find a moose if you want. Go paddling on the Baltic. You might see a Russian submarine. Might see some.
I mean, where do you get something like that? I mean,
you can't. You can't get that in Chicago. I mean,
that'd be real interesting if you did find one.
Like maybe San Diego.
Exactly.
Maybe San Diego. You might have some submarine action going on.
You might see that in San Diego. But it was just it's just really interesting that how quickly you can get encased in nature, and still be so close to the city. So I was really excited that we ended up out here. So
Ingero is nice. I mean, and you feel when you're heading out towards Ingero, I mean, everything starts getting. The road starts narrowing a little bit, towards the final stretch there. And I can't even remember if they have like lighting on the road when you get away, but it's out there. I mean, Ingero is Nacka and out, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're correct. Yeah, and you did a great job describing it. Is that when you come through Gustafsburg or Gustas Bay?
Right. Yeah.
I still can't say it the right way. And then you get out into Ingro. It gets from regular roads with streetlights, and then you get through Brunn, and then you get there's no lights, and people were telling me, they're like, "Do you guys know where you're living?" Because we had rented this house before we moved here, and they're like, it's dark, and it's like there's like no lights and stuff like that. I'm like we'll figure it out, we'll be fine, and there's no lights, and it's like I walk the dog at night, and after work it's like 11 o'clock, and I have to use a headlamp, and it's fine. I love it. I think it's great. I mean, it was like the first couple of weeks I was terrified. I'm scared of heights, and I'm scared of animals in the woods when you can't see them.
Right.
And when I was first walking the dog at night, I would see these eyes like in the woods, and I'm like, okay, what is that? I'm like, what kind of animal is that? Is that a wild boar? Is that a moose? And it was, it was.
Do I run? Do I run? Do I stop, drop, and roll? I mean, what is the?
What is that? What is that thing? It's California. There were sharks and some other animals, desert animals. But so far, everything's pretty so far so good. Yeah. But it's I'm not sure where you guys live. I get the sense that anywhere in the general area of Stockholm and other cities, it's like you're so close to nature.
Yeah, I mean, Nynäs is definitely out here, but it's becoming more and more. Now we have this. They just opened up this huge harbor down here, Deepwater Harbor, and it is. People were telling us that it was kind of like the Florida of the area. Like people had started looking at Nynäshamn as a retirement, possibility and stuff.
You better be awful careful. You're going to get the Nynäshamn on making the news every month.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, but it's nice down here, and you'll have to come down because I know that Ture is on.
I drove through. It's in a really nice town. Yeah.
So next time we'll have to hook up when you come down. But Ross, I think that what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and wrap it for this episode, and then we are going to touch bases with you hopefully down the road and keep track of your adventure.
Yeah, definitely.
Of how things go. And we will definitely be in touch if you run into something in the grocery store that you don't recognize and you're not sure whether or not it's safe to eat. Go ahead and call me and send me a pic, and I'll let you know.
Definitely. And I appreciate you keeping in touch with me through the first part of my journey. So it was nice just to get a note every now and again.
Oh yeah, no, we got the support net here. We're here for you. We're here.
No, definitely. So this was a lot of fun. So thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we look forward to talking to you and keeping in touch. Okay. Take care of yourself and say hi to Karin.
Will do.
All right, everyone, that'll do it for this week. A special thank you to Ross Schager for joining us on the podcast. An interesting little note, after we finished the recording session, he sent us a picture of those chicken wings, and they look like legit chicken wings. So, amazing. We have to keep a lookout for chicken wings in the grocery stores. Hope they turned out amazing. The doggo in the picture seemed to approve. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram to follow the latest exploits of Rodney, myself, Bjorn the Viking, and get all the Two Guys, Three Crowns goodness that you're after. Also hit up our YouTube channel for some behind the scenes action, and then come back here next week for more Two Guys, Three Crowns.